Hello, my name is Melanie Wesley, and welcome to the Salon Social Podcast. This is the Client's Corner. In this series, we dive deep into the candid conversations with clients to empower beauty professionals to elevate their services and create unforgettable client experiences. In the beauty industry, a customer's perception is our reality, and who better to share their insights than the clients themselves? Our mission here is to shine a light on what clients truly value, equipping you with the knowledge to enhance your offerings and positively impact your bottom line. Together, we'll help beauty professionals unlock their full potential, one transformative experience at a time. Get ready to listen, learn, and elevate your craft. Thank you for lending me your ear. Until next time, be good, be true, be you. Hello. My name is Melanie Wesley. Welcome to the Salon Social Podcast. I am your salon experience consultant. Today we are joined by my friend Duanne. And in this series, yes, welcome Duanne. Welcome to the Salon
Thanks
Social
for having me.
Podcast. And in this series, I think I'm calling it the client's perspective. And really in hopes to help a new stylist, a seasoned stylist to kind of better cater their services to make for a really great experience for clients. I'm having these conversations with clients because I think it's important to get the client's perspective, to go directly to the horse's mouth to get what it is that people need and want when they decide to pay for a service. And so hopefully this sheds some light in these type of conversations. So
Absolutely.
Duanne, I mean, everybody has been to the salon at some point or another, or the barbershop, or have
Yeah.
for some kind of service, an esthetician, a spa, because really these conversations can be transferred into all different kinds of industries. But I'm going to
Sure.
stick to what I know, which is hairstyling and the beauty industry. And so, like, if you can think of any time that you've had to pay for a service, and again, it doesn't really have to be a salon, but
Mhm.
what kind of experience have you? I'm gonna pass the mic off to you if you can think of anything that can entertain us this morning.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have had a lot of different salon experiences. Well, we'll say hair experiences because to your point, you can go to the barbershop, you can go to the salon, you can go to
Yeah.
someone's garage, someone's house, the salon suites. There's so many different varieties, excuse me, and ways for you to get that service now, which is kind of cool. It's different, but it's fun. And then I've gone to salons mostly only in the United States, like all just
Yeah.
different places in the United States. And each salon has been a different experience. From growing up to that first relaxer when I was like in the 80s, the salon experience it just has evolved so much, and I'm here for all of the experiences. It's learning for me as a client, and then just learning, about just how the world has changed and how everything has changed just with what it looks like getting your hair done. In the
Yeah, for
80s
sure.
and 90s, you call your stylist to make that appointment. Like, hey, you got me on your books, and like you were lucky if they let you come every 2 weeks.
Right.
And then once we got, later on, it's like, wow, like you have all these different apps. You can go on Style Seed and other
Yeah.
things to book, or go on Instagram, send me a DM, I'll book you here.
Right.
It's just all of these different options, which I really like. I love having the different options to book. Sometimes I do want to talk to a human, like, hey, girl, hey, you make that appointment. And other times it is very convenient to go into the app, see the
Definitely.
pricing, see what dates are available, and I can just make it happen instead of having that 10-minute conversation about, okay, wait, well, I don't know about this day. Well, what time on this day? Well, what about this
Right.
day? It's good to just have that view. I love this new digital
Yeah.
service that we have now. It's very, very cool. So as we
Yes.
transition into that, I've really enjoyed that service overall.
Yeah. I mean, and
But
to your point, like back in the day, it was such a hassle kind of, trying to get those appointments. And sometimes you wouldn't even get a hold of the person, or, you would find them trying to like squeeze you in, but then you end up spending the whole day in the salon. And it's just like, okay,
yes,
maybe I
and
should have.
that's probably if there's two things that stand out for me from a salon standpoint or just any hair service standpoint that you're getting your hair done is, the waiting. In those times, it was very different because, like you said, it's like, oh, you'll call, oh, yeah, come on in. I'm gonna fit you in. But like, fit you in means you're going to arrive at 11. You may not leave until 5. And I'm like, have you really been here for 6 hours? Like, are there snacks available? Or is the donut guy or the hot dog guy going to pop by today so I can get some food? You know what I mean? So it's just, it was, it was a lot. I really like now that stylists are more, they do a better job overall from what I've seen in all places of scheduling your time. Like, this is your time. You need to be here. And then they're also making sure that they are where they need to be on time. So then I, as the client, I also need to be on time. And I totally respect that because there have been times I've showed up for an appointment, the stylist was not there. And you're waiting on the stylist, and then you're calling like, hey, it's coming to get my hair done today. And they're like, I just got to make one more stop. And then you still in your car like, what is happening? And then, when you get there, it's that professionalism, right? Because, everybody loves their stylist. It doesn't matter where you go in the world, the barbershop, hairstyle, whatever is happening with your hair. You are chatting it up. You're talking about life. You're talking about current events, so you have those moments.
It's an intimate, like,
Yes.
back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I love that. And, but it kind of crosses the line, though, when it's like you get there and it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Like, you're in the middle of doing my hair and then you step away. And you go get on the phone, and I'm like, you over here cackling with somebody else. Like, you can be cackling with me. I'm cool with that. But, like, now you're not touching my head. And now I got away. If you have an emergency, by all means, like, or even if you don't know who it is, like, you're expecting a call, you need to pick up, pick up the call. Like, hey, girl, yeah, but I'm doing someone's hair. I'm going to call you back in like an hour or whenever I get a break. And that's totally fine because we're all human, right? Things happen. You might be a little late. You need to eat. You need to sit down. Everybody needs to drink their water, So that part makes sense to me. But it's like that professional.
It's those people that kind of take advantage, right?
Yeah. And it could be, sometimes people may like want to take advantage of the relationship or someone is just taking advantage of your time. Like I saw something on social media the other day. Someone was talking about they had a hair appointment with a stylist they've been using for years and years, but then they let the person do the hair. And it was like, oh, I don't have all the money, but I'm going to pay you later because I feel like, I know you because we cool because you've been doing my hair for this time. And I'm like, that's not cool. It doesn't matter. Like you need to pay for a service. And just as a client, if I'm there for you and you're like, oh, I didn't think you would mind. I'm just going to wrap your hair and let you go sit under the dryer at your house because I got to go to, wherever I have to go. And it's like, absolutely not.
Right. I mean, you can't like with any kind of, company or industry that provides a service to you, you can't be like, hey, can I run you half today and I'm gonna run you half, like, or can I give it to you next week or two? Like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
You got to have some type of arrangement. You got to have a conversation. So no, I agree. And that, it's just, and it's like little things like if you need to eat, like I've been in situations where I've showed up to the salon and the stylist is like, yo, I've been here all day. I need to eat. And I'm like, yeah, you need to eat because I really don't want you to pass out on me. And then we have a whole situation, like, please go eat. That makes sense. But then it's like, okay, if, even if you call me, because, again, we have those relationships like, hey, Duanne, I know you're coming in for your appointment. Are you going to pass by anything where you can bring me some food? Absolutely, because we all need calories. But when you have those moments where it's like you're in the middle of doing something and you like, hold on a second. Also just brought my food. I'm gonna step over here. Like you right in the middle of my head. Like, can we not like have me at the shampoo bowl? I have been in situations at the shampoo bowl where it's like, let me do this. Okay. And then you sitting at the shampoo bowl with the shampoo and it's like, I really want to get the shampoo, not conditioner, the shampoo, or even the conditioner sometimes. Because, it's like, oh, we're going to do a treatment. Okay, cool. But like, I'm sure I don't need 30 minutes for this treatment. If you wanted to take a break, just say you need to take a break.
Just say that, right? Exactly.
So it's like that communication, right?
Or yeah, what I think I hear you say is like, you know, even though you have like an established relationship with the client, you
Mm-hmm.
should still maintain a certain level of professionalism. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, you're a business, you are providing a service, and then they're paying you money. This is not your girlfriend coming into your living room and just sitting and chilling. Even when you have built that relationship and that level of comfort with somebody,
Yeah.
it's still important to make sure that there's always a level of professionalism that you bring to the table, because
Sure.
that just kind of opens the door for all kinds of stuff
And you
happening.
know, and the funny thing with that too, like the first hairstylist that I ever had, and this has been, we won't say how many years ago, but it was a while ago. So it was a while. But that stylist and we have a really good relationship. And our relationship is so strong. It's like I have helped with her life events. I know
Yeah,
her family. If I
yeah,
see her family out, we're going to stop and have a chat. You know,
yeah.
I'm going to send a holiday something to your house, or when things are happening in your life, I know about it.
Right.
So, and I don't see that stylist anymore, just for different reasons. Not because I don't love her, she's not capable, but we're just not, we're not in the same
Right.
place. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
If I did, I can see how it would be, it's really hard with those lines sometimes, because it's
Yeah.
like, girl, I'm gonna be there late today because I got blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
because it's your friend, they
Yeah.
understand. But
Right.
at the same time, it's like you said, you don't want to get too far over that line.
Yeah.
And then your stylist friend is like, hey friend, I need you to come on,
Yeah.
because remember I got more clients than just you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
Right.
but
Right.
but at the same time, you want to maintain those relationships, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, most of your clients, I mean, those are your friends. They become your family,
Yeah.
because
For
I mean,
sure.
you're in there chopping it up.
Yeah.
Here, I mean, it's a very, energy exchange experience.
For sure. Yeah, and yeah, you get to know so many intimate details about each other
Yeah,
over
yeah,
the years that it is the lines kind of do get blurred, but start off a conversation like this if I'm talking to a client and I'm like, okay, this is friend Melanie talking now. So I'm taking off
right.
my hat. I'm taking off my stylist hat and I'm putting on my
Yeah,
friend hat, vice versa. I'm
right.
like, okay, this isn't your friend talking. This is your stylist talking, and this da 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 da
Mhm.
da. But it's like it's sometimes it gets a little blurred. The lines get a little blurred. But to your point, like there should still also be, a level of respect, a level of like boundaries. Certain
Sure.
boundaries should just be respected. And again, but there's like a level that should always be, the respect for their time, for the
Mhm.
for the service, for the quality of service, and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard sometimes to juggle. I
Mhm.
think that's why some stylists like keeping it like separate from each
Keeping
other.
everyone at a distance. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
It's
mean,
so hard to do.
it's hard to do that,
And
especially when
that
you're
changes the
vibing with that
experience,
person.
right? Right. Because like if I come in and you're like, hey, I'm doing your hair, and like you're on
Right,
mute the entire time, it's like
right, right.
I'm kind of scared. I'm like, yo, because I'm an overly chatty person. So I'm
Yeah,
just like, there's no conversation, like what is happening right now? Like I
it
got a
gets so
question.
awkward too.
Right. It's like an awkward silence. And it's not
Yeah,
uncomfortable. It's just awkward, because it's like, oh,
awkward.
this is a salon though. Like I've never
Yeah,
gone into a quiet salon anywhere ever. Quiet salon or quiet barbershop. Either someone is selling something, someone is talking
yeah,
about something on TV,
right.
and that's it. The only time it used to be quiet was like probably in the early, long time ago. We won't say the year, like when Young and the Restless, like we watching our stories, okay?
Right,
And you got to
right.
report back to somebody, so like there was no conversation. But
Yeah,
other
like
than
it was
that, yeah,
focused
you
on
want
that
to
TV.
have that. But the other thing though, but even when you bring up a good point, like when it's kind of quiet because like it's new. Because I've been in situations where it's a new stylist to someone new that I just met, and they're doing my hair. Even then, it's kind of like you're still looking for that level of professionalism, but then also, like you said, you're trying to fill each other out, because I feel like you as
Yeah.
a stylist, it's like, I don't even know if I want this person in my chair, because they,
Right.
because I've noticed now, like, look, on all these new apps, they're like, okay, your hair needs to be, or have you done this to your hair? Like, has your hair been done in this amount of time? And now, we're in the age of social media. I've heard people say, they're like, oh, I got to go to my appointment and I got to be like camera ready. And I'm like, camera ready? Absolutely not. That's
Right.
not for me. And for some people that could work, but I don't live in
Yeah.
that space. So
Yeah.
that's not for me. But, I think that clients need to be honest with themselves about what their needs and wants are, and just their
Yeah.
expectations. And then even the stylist needs to be able to communicate their strengths and weaknesses and their expectations. Like, if you're not going to be here within 10 minutes, of
Yeah.
your time, then your appointment is canceled or whatever. Like, communicate that up front. If you only do like one or two types of styles and you don't do anything else, communicate that up front.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not comfortable adding color, or if you can't give me information about how to care for my hair after I've added
Yeah.
color, then,
Yeah.
communicate that information up front. Because, part of it too, I'm coming to you as the expert, because I don't know. I mean, I know how to deal with my hair. I know enough to keep my hair from falling out, kind of,
Right.
maybe most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the expert. So, I'm
Yeah.
looking to you for that education
Right.
piece.
Yeah.
So, if a stylist tells me, like, yeah, sure, we can do that style, or yeah, we can do this, and then like you leave, and it's like, there's so many moments where you request something and then you're getting ready to walk out of the salon, or they turn you around and it's like, this is not what I wanted. And what do you do in those moments? Do I have to pay for a new style? Where was the disconnect in trying to get something done? And that's the hard part once you have a new stylist and you're dealing with someone new. And at some point, everybody is going to be in that situation. Stylists are going to retire, stylists change locations, and
Career.
you might just want to go to that one location, So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just different. But, just having those conversations and communicating, I'm seeing a lot of people are having like consultations, which is pretty cool, because it's like you both get to know, like, no, I don't want to deal with you, or your
Yeah.
hair is not what I'm comfortable with. Like, it's too thick. You're going to break all my combs because I'm not, I mean, it's just
No.
like, I went to a salon that was not a predominantly African American salon, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is fine, because everybody, like, when you go to school for hair, you're doing everyone's hair, right? So this is
Exactly.
not an issue. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. But,
Right.
everybody does things differently. And if that's
Yeah.
not your strength and you're working on my hair today,
Yeah.
then it's like,
Yeah.
I see that's not your strength in the thing that you
Right.
wanted to do. So next time, maybe tell me up front, but it's just interesting,
Yes.
when you come into those moments and you're just having those conversations. But yeah, it's just, gosh, it's so much to unpack with the professionalism, communication, and boundaries. Like, that's a new
I mean, it's
buzzword.
so important, to your
Yeah.
point, that people are honest with the
Yeah.
client about their skill level, their comfort level, the
Mhm.
experience level. Like, you can't, somebody told me a long time, you can't be the jack of all trades. You got to pick a niche and stick with that niche. Like, what is it?
For
What is
sure.
your specialty? What's your
Yeah.
specialty? So, like, yeah, and you're right. In school, they do teach us about hair, all different types of hair, and we get to do all different types of textures and all that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
like, it is really important as a stylist, as a business owner, especially when you're building, to
Yeah.
be able to communicate with your client honestly about what it is you're comfortable with doing. Because because I mean, when you're building, and even if you're just have a business, you're growing your business, and you have that one bad experience where you fall short of giving that client the results that they're looking for, how do you expect
Yeah.
them not to go out and like speak negatively about the experience? And then that's not
Mhm.
really how you grow if you're just out here just giving people like all these false promises, and you're not,
Mhm.
you're always falling short. Like, that's not cool. You know what I
That's
mean? Be honest with the client, and then just let them know what your comfort level is. Like, people will
absolutely
respect you more for that. I think as a client, they will be like,
for
you know what? I appreciate you for telling me that.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And to your point with the interviews, that is a way for you to kind of, it's almost, I mean, not the
Yeah.
interviews, the conversations.
Yeah.
it's kind of like
It's
an
the same
interview,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like an
Yeah.
interview. Like
It's
you're,
for sure.
I'm interviewing you as a stylist, and you're also interviewing me as
Yeah.
as a client, because you don't know, we may not get along, or we may not vibe, or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
That
So
makes
I
a
think
difference.
it,
It
it
really
really
makes a difference. But
does.
as a stylist and as a client, I can decide like, no, I don't want to be over there in that situation. So
Yeah,
it's just kind of nice that you have those options. And now there's so many options. There's no shortage of stylists anywhere
yeah,
or barbers. I mean, like you can find someone anywhere. But to your
yeah,
point, anytime that I've been like in a something and like, oh, I need to go to someone else. At one point, my stylist wasn't available. They weren't going to be available for a couple of months. So I had to go, excuse me, I had to go somewhere else to get my hair done. And it was my first time meeting this person. And they were very nice. And the
mhm,
salon was nice. It felt good going in. The parking was easy. That's important to me. The parking
yeah.
situation is
You're
always,
hitting all the points. Yes.
yeah, like I need parking. And like at least even if I have to pay, I just need to know where it is. Like when there's no option to like figure it out, it's like, oh my God. Especially like in a metropolitan area, like it's
All
extremely
right.
overwhelming. I need to know
Yeah.
about accessibility. Yeah. So like how am I getting in? Parking, like how does that work? But anyway, so I was like, oh, this is good. I'm feeling the vibe. It was great. But a few things happened when I got there and like the way this person like their process of doing my hair. I guess that's the way you do it. It wasn't like what my stylist did, and that's okay because they're different people, but it was
Yeah.
just different. And I knew I was like, I can't come back. And it's not that she's not, like she wasn't capable.
Uh,
She was great, but she just was
yeah.
not for me. And she just had a different way of doing things. And then also the other thing too is, when you're not in like a salon suite situation where it's just like you and the stylist, when you're in that salon or even in the barbershop, you're also buying into everybody else that's there. So it's
That's
like
true.
if you have like that one really loud person and they're
Yeah.
like, you know, they're listening to music all day, like really, really loud, and they talk like really, really loud, I'm gonna block that out. But somebody else
Yeah.
might be like, oh my gosh, this is low
Yeah,
vibration or
it can
whatever.
mess with your
It,
it can mess with your vibe, like, because you're sometimes, a lot of times when you go get your hair done or get any kind of service, it's kind of like self-care. So like
yes,
if you're trying to have a self-care day, and then you got the next booth person a few feet away from you, and all you hearing is all the drama that's going on, and that's messing up your whole, like, you're
yeah,
like, I don't want to hear all that, like,
yeah.
I'm not here for this.
My earplug can only take me so far. So I feel that. But yeah, I mean, at this salon, there were, it was so many people and it wasn't even loud, but it was just overstimulating because it was so big and it was so many people. And I didn't know that that mattered to me until that moment because that was my first time going to a salon of that size. 'Cause,
Right.
now with the evolution of salon suites and that type of scheduling, look, where you're not fitting somebody in, you
Yeah.
don't have to be that strategic. So I
Right.
never knew that that made a difference to me until I got there and I was so overstimulated. So if it's a way to make your experience feel like it's personalized and like you said, it is just you, it's your self-care moment,
Yeah.
then that's great because I feel like that would be harder to do when you're in a larger salon or like a larger shop. Yeah.
I, I think that's why salon suites have done so well, and like the whole business concept has really just blown up in the
Mhm.
last few years, because I think people are starting to, like, their mind shift. Clients are starting to shift their mindset when it comes to what their salon session should look like. People don't
Yeah.
want to wait. Like back in
No.
the day, like you mentioned earlier, you would go to the salon at 11 and you don't leave till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And sometimes you would be there every Saturday. Some people
Yeah.
with the really short, straight cuts would be there every Saturday. And who wants
Every
to get the
Saturday.
whole Saturday? Like, even when I was in the salon suite, I started noticing that my Saturdays were becoming shorter. Less clients were booking because clients were like, you know what? I don't want to spend my weekends in the
You don't
salon.
want to be in salon.
And back then, you were seeing more companies allowing remote work, and so people had more flexibility. So they
Yeah.
would rather pack in that appointment during the week, during their work week, and so that way their weekends was free to do whatever they wanted to do. So I think,
Absolutely.
the whole mindset shift started to happen, and people just started to realize, man, my time is precious to me. I don't want to
Okay.
be in the salon waiting for hours on end for me to get a
Hmm.
hairstyle, when I can go to this person, like you said, schedule that appointment online. I don't really have to talk to anyone. Excuse me. Schedule my exact time, my exact services. I know what I'm paying for. There are no surprise costs. I know what time I'm in and out. And then I can plan
Hmm.
around that. But like when you were just like hanging out in the salon for like 6, 8 hours, you
It's
can't
too
do
long.
nothing.
Yeah, it's too long. No, I agree.
That's your
And
whole day.
it's your whole day. And I've noticed, like you said, a lot of stylists are not working on weekends anymore. And just chatter from different people. I hear people like, oh my gosh, like that seems like that would be the busiest day because people don't have time to go during the week. And I'm like, but I think the people that want to go on the weekend, they're willing to pay that premium because I've noticed a lot of stylists now are like, you know,
Really?
certain days are like, they're premium days. So, they cost more. That flexibility. I feel like everybody just kind of finds someone that works on the day that they want to go.
Right.
And that's important too, because, there's a lot of great stylists out there, but some of them, they only work during the day. Some of them
Yeah.
only work afternoons or evenings. Some
Yeah.
of them only work on the weekends. And that's great. If they have the clientele, there's somebody out there that wants to work or go in on any of those days, and
Yeah.
they just make it work.
Yeah. I
I've
agree.
noticed the premium pricing and all the changes for that are very interesting. And like you said, you made a
It is
comment about
interesting.
well, even your comment about the, knowing what you're going to pay for, no hidden costs. But see, even with that, I've noticed with locks specifically, well, even it doesn't even have to be locks. Anyone with long hair, it's like
Oh
if
yeah.
your hair is short, I'm like, well, short is relative. Like, is short, at your ear, or is that,
Yeah.
down lower? And then
Yeah.
sometimes they're like, oh, if it's past your bra strap or if it's
Yeah.
past your shoulder, so it gets
Yeah.
kind of confusing. It's like, well, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, look, is that my length with shrinkage or not?
Right.
Like, I got questions.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
it's just
I'm sorry.
making it all. Well, no, I was just going to say it's just making everything clear. Kind of like we went back with communication, like what days are you available? What's the
Yeah.
upfront pricing?
Yeah.
If it could change, like how much could it change? And like, what does that look like? You know what I mean? So,
I
especially
mean,
with money, because when you think about
with
paying
money.
more for a service, it's like, you know, inflation is wild. Like the cost of everything, it changes, every couple of months now. And I mean, when you're looking at, okay, am I going to get my hair done or am I going to go and pay this rent?
Right.
Depending on the person and their financial situation.
But I mean, honestly, like it's really a luxury. It's not a necessity. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that you choose to do, and not everybody can afford to go and get their hair done professionally. So like,
Yeah.
just like with interior decor or interior styling, like it's a luxury. Not everyone can afford to have a designer come and
Yeah.
redo their blouse. So,
Yeah.
but when you're talking about all of the different charges and all the different rules and regulations around this hairstyling, it's hard, I think, in our industry because there's so many individual businesses and individual entities that there's no real regulation across the board.
Standard.
One person is over here, the other one's over there, then this one is doing something completely different. Like you might find some similarities, but like you can go from one end of the spectrum to the next. Like it's just
Mhm.
really Saturday
Yeah.
was the day that everyone went to the salon. That wasn't a premium
Yeah.
day. It was just the day. Like everybody went to the
Yeah.
salon on Saturday. And so the fact that it's now turned into a premium day
Mhm.
is astonishing. I'm like, really? The point I want to make is I think that clients kind of be the driving factor behind how we schedule our appointments because sometimes you can
Mhm.
have a bunch of clients who are professionals and all work from home and they have flexible schedules so you can then afford to work during the day. But then you
Yeah.
also have other clients, if most of your clients are 9 to 5ers in the office and they don't have a day off until Saturday, then you got to
Right.
kind of adjust your schedule to accommodate your clients.
There's a lot of fees out there. And like you said, getting your hair done is truly a luxury. I mean, it is a privilege,
Yeah.
Again, my retouch back in the day was like $25.
Yeah.
$25. You might be able to get a trim on one side of your head for 25. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
but
to
the
your point with
pricing,
inflation, like
yeah,
inflation really drove up the cost. But I remember with the barbers, like you could get a $10 haircut
yes,
at the barbers. That is no longer. Haircuts at the
no,
barbers are costing $50,
yes.
$60. Like,
But it's causing a shift of people that are doing their own hair because
yeah.
it is so expensive. And
Yeah.
when you think about how much you're willing to pay for a service, I can't micromanage your costs. All I know is what I can afford. So it's
Right.
almost a lot of times it's like, oh, I may really like this service and I may love this stylist and think they're great, but that's not in my price range. So I'm not going to go over there. I'm going to go over here, and
Right.
again, and I can see how, it's interesting to see the pricing and what that looks like and how it has
Mm,
evolved so much over time. But then
mm.
it's just, figuring out again, and it goes back to that communication and just understanding that stylist and what their fees are. Is this a situation that I can go into and make it affordable and I'm not sitting over there looking like this?
Yeah. Like, how am I going to pay?
And then you're over there mad, like, how dare she? It's like, how you gonna get upset about the pricing and you knew what the
Yeah.
pricing was when you booked this appointment?
Right. When you book
You
your
had
appointment.
to make a decision. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that is a really great point that you bring up. It's just like having like some kind of standards, across the board that is not so like, extreme from one end to the next. Like,
I think, everybody has to get to a place where it's like, oh, I like your pricing. I think your pricing is fair. I'm just not able to pay that today. You know what I mean?
right,
So it's
yeah, you
not
gotta
like
know, you
I
gotta
don't
be
like you and I don't
comfortable.
like your pricing. It's just like, I think this is a fair price and your price is your price, but I can't pay that today. So when you think
Right.
about like these, like a premium day or like, oh, I want to pay for this premium service. I think this is a good price, but I'm going to have to save up or wait because I need something else more important over here, or I'm just not able or willing to pay for that today because I need to do something else with that money, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, you got to go where you're comfortable. Like, if you're bringing value to people, a great experience to people, then you may be able to afford to charge a little bit more for your prices. But
Sure.
if you're just, I don't know, it's more of a transaction for you, and you're just like, all right, come on in here, do this here, and I'm done. Like, I ain't even
Not a
trying to build
salon
no relationship.
experience.
So it's like, okay, well, you can't come out the gate talking about you charging $200, and you haven't given me any value for the
Yeah.
cost of your service. So I guess it does translate to all different industries. It just depends on the comfort level of your pockets
Mm-hmm.
and whether or not what you would consider valuable to you. Because if you don't see the value in the service, then you're not going to want to pay the price for it. So
Yeah.
ultimately, just bringing a good experience to people whatever industry you're in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I think if you create the space, it smells good, it's comfortable. You're given wine and tea and a foot massager. You're like, okay, I don't mind paying $250 for this
Right.
service because
Yeah.
she gave me all these things, and when I leave here, I am renewed. I feel like a
Yeah.
new person. I feel.
Extra
But then you
self-care.
got right self-care is part of the self-care. If you got somebody who you walk into the salon, you got the first thing you're greeted is with a bag of trash at the door, and she doesn't even greet you, and nope, you've been there 3 hours, nobody's offered you not a lick of water. You're like, I'm not
Yeah.
paying $250 for this service. This is
No.
ridiculous. Like, I didn't, you know what I mean? There's no value
Yeah.
that
You
you
got to be
bring
able
to
to
people.
feel the
So
value. You definitely got to be able to
yeah,
feel the value because to your
yeah,
point, even if I walk in and the broom is in the corner, that's cool. You clean it up. The conversation is good. You're nice. You offer me a bottle of water, or even normally I have
Yeah.
my own cup. You're like, oh, would you like me to refill your cup?
Right.
Yes, let's, save some plastic
Right.
bottles. Just looking out, and I'm good with all of that. But like
Yeah.
you said, a lot of times people are just like, it seems, and I've not been in this situation where I felt like I was there as a client and someone was charging like a price that I was like, absolutely not. This is not worth it. Now I've seen some and I'm just like, I don't know about that for that situation.
Yeah.
But and not to be me, but just this is me from the client perspective, but
Yeah,
it's
no.
like you said, I think whatever your price is, I'm not going to ask this question, but if someone says, can you break down this pricing for me? Why is your price your price? Like break it down in your mind. Like, you cover the cost of your supplies, and then like the depreciation of your supplies. Like every time you use that wash bowl, shampoo bowl, you need to charge a fee because you're breaking down that shampoo bowl before you got to buy a new one. So depreciation of your things, and then you got to charge yourself an hourly rate. And then you need profit on top of that. So I mean, it gets up there. So I mean, it makes sense, but it's like you said, if I'm tripping over the trash when I walk in and everybody yelling and I've been waiting an hour, I'm not giving you $200. I am not.
Right.
For no service.
Doesn't
I don't care. No service.
Psychologically, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in your head. If you walk into a salon, it's the complete opposite, and you're greeted by someone and you're offered a hot cup of tea. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, I can see me paying $200. It's a psychological thing, but you're also offering people, tangible value that they can actually, measure the difference. Like, okay, I can see me.
Yeah. It's that good customer service, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. Like, hello, how are you today?
Right.
I'm doing great. Thanks so
And
much
Chick-fil-A
for coming
selling
in.
an
It's
$8
our pleasure to have you come and spend your money in our salon. Well, thank you. I feel appreciated. It really does make a difference.
And they can afford to sell an $8 chicken sandwich.
Yes. And that
as
line
opposed to McDonald's.
That McDonald's line is not in the street. But that Chick-fil-A line is
but
in
McDonald's
the street.
McDonald's ain't greeting you like that. So you're going to be like, $8 sandwich? I don't think so, McDonald's. Right. I don't want to pay that. That's too much money. But you see the difference?
It's a big difference.
So I'm loving, you're bringing up so many good points. I love it. And then I think my question was going to be like, what do you think people can do to bring value? But I think we've kind of covered that. Just really helping people to feel that customer service, that experience, just really uplifting that, like lifting that experience to a level where it's like, exceeding people's expectations, always being ahead of the client, not waiting for them to ask for something, but kind of trying to offer it up before they even ask for it. Like, I didn't even know I needed a foot massage while I was under the hairdryer, but thank you. I appreciate that. That's a great way to just bring extra services. People.
Those extra services are nice, but even if a stylist doesn't have the capacity to do all of that, just being on time and being just being cordial with that client. Even the salon recently that I went to, they have water that's out. If the bathroom is clean. It's just a nice vibe. The music is good. It's not too loud. It's a good situation. So, just figure out what works for you just as a stylist, I would think. And then that's going to come out into that experience. And, it's going to be a vibe or it won't be. But, I just think everybody just has to be themselves, create a situation that you feel comfortable with. And then hopefully that client feels that as well. If not, that just may not be the client for your salon. And that's okay, but I think finding that thing that works for makes you feel good about being there. And like you said, just that good customer service, that professionalism, golden.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes, I agree 100%. So to that point, would you pay more for a better experience, and why? Why would you do that if you would?
It depends on the additional services that I'm getting. And I probably wouldn't do that all of the time, but I would be open to looking into it. It's just not my vibe. I'm not a very, I dare say, fancy. I don't need a lot of frills and
Yeah.
thrills, and I don't need all the extra things. I just need good vibes
Yeah.
and,
Right.
refill my water bottle, and I'm good. For me, it's just more so like, do you know what you're doing? Is my hair
Yeah.
gonna look great? Because all of these extra things are cool, but like,
Yeah.
how is my hair going to feel when I leave? If my head is like pulled back because everything's so tight and I've said it like 6 times and everything is still tight, like I can't come back to see you. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
but I think I would pay more for better service. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Let's say if it's someone that I know, I've been there, and they go up on the prices, I'm going to keep coming back, especially if I'm getting a good service. I'm just going to have to pay whatever this new pricing is. I may not go as often depending on what's happening in my life, but I'm going to go.
Right.
If it's another
Right.
stylist and I'm like, I love this stylist, I love what they're doing, I love their products, I like my booking experience, my parking experience, you know, if I need to pay more so that I can, those things that are important to me personally,
Yeah.
I would pay for
Yeah.
that. It's just,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, okay, I'm on your books for every 2 weeks. I'll see you every 2 weeks, girl. It might be like, all right, I'm gonna see you once a month, girl, depending on
Right.
that cost,
Yeah, I mean,
But
you
I
gotta
would
do
be
what's
open
best
to
for you.
paying. I would be open to paying for additional services. I just need to know those up front so I can understand
Right.
the full value
Yeah.
of what I'm paying. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Ultimately, communication is key.
Yes.
Good energy is key.
Yeah.
Just making sure that you get the service that you paid for, and
Yeah.
you're not leaving them comfortable, and and you
Hmm.
kind of want to come back instead of you wanting to just pay some money and then you're like, I don't even like my hair. It's like, whatever. And ultimately you wouldn't mind paying for a great experience
Correct.
as long as it's within your budget, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
I
I agree with
I
all of it.
couldn't have said any better.
Cool.
And I mean, and I'm so glad we had this conversation because you brought up some really good points, and I think we need to probably continue the conversation just to kind of, just help shed light on the industry for
Yeah.
anyone who's, like I said, kind of just getting into it. I think it's important that we include clients into the conversation so that we can be
Yeah.
better for our clients, you know?
Yeah. No,
So I
that's
appreciate you so
for
much.
sure. Thank you for having me and
Yeah.
let me share
Thank
all of
you
my
for
thoughts.
coming on. I'm glad we're able to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do it again soon. Talk more about frills and thrills.
Okay. All right, girl. Well, I appreciate you. Until next time,
Yes.
I hope everybody's doing well, and then we'll talk soon.